Hello, friends from Facebook and people in the internet. It's really nice to be here tonight to talk to you a little bit about a new project that I will be starting pretty soon, and that is how to sculpt a figurine, a collectible figurine. Um, on the series, we're going to talk about everything you need to know from concept art from beginning to end. So I'm gonna be sharing with you how I do it, what I do it, and the whole process. So I decided to do this video, a quick video. I hope this is not a video that is too long. It's mostly, excuse me, it's mostly to show you my tools, the material that I'm going to use for this project, what kind of clay, what kind of wax I'm going to be using, and what kind of tools I use. And let's talk about that today. And if this is something that interests you and you want to follow along and create your own sculpture with me, doing what I'm doing, that'll be awesome. So we can work together and learn together, right? So let's start with I'm gonna try to walk around my table here. Welcome to my home studio. I'm gonna try to walk you around my studio and show you what kind of tools I use, what kind of materials I have, and then you can go ahead and get your hands on that first before we start working on the sculpture itself. Excuse me again. So the first thing I want to talk about is the clay. So I've always wanted to use this Castelline. I think that's how they pronounce it. I think they got bought by Chavant. You can see there that now it's manufactured by them. So you can get it on their website, I think. I was lucky to find this at a local sculpture supply store. They had it in store. I just snatched two of them. Can't remember how much I paid for them. There's quite a bit. I don't know how much I have here in weight, but I have two big blocks that will be more than enough for what we're going to be doing. So I bought this type of clay. You can choose a different kind of clay if you'd like, but to do it the way I do it, I would recommend you get your hands on some type of modeling compound that is hard, okay? So I go for the hard because I do not use armature. I do not like armature. They hold me back every time I try to have one of those in my sculptures. I think they just hold me back, and if I change my mind as far as the gesture of the sculpture, it just makes things so much more complicated, in my opinion. If you like armature, no big deal. You can use an armature and you can follow my process and do your thing, but with your armature in it. I just don't want to have an armature in mine. That's why I choose a hard compound, like a modeling compound that is firmer. Okay, and this looks hard enough. It looks really hard, so I'm glad, because I don't want to use the armature, as I said. So that would be what I'm going to be using. Try to find something similar or even the same material. It'll be fine. This, I want to leave here for the record that I've never worked with this material before. So I'm going to be learning how it behaves. So we may face a few challenges that I wasn't, foreseeing. And so we're just going to have to go through it together. I do like a different compound, which is the CX5 hard clay from Atom Bean Industries, but apparently it's not being manufactured at this point, so it's very hard, but you can't get your hands on it anymore. You can't, because apparently they're not manufacturing them anymore, this clay. So I have two projects that I started on it, and I'll finish because I had enough material, but excuse me again, I don't think you can find it for purchase yet. So for that reason, let's go with this guy here. I also like Monster Clay, and if I would get Monster Clay today, I will buy Monster Clay gray. I wouldn't buy the brown version that they have. I will buy the gray version. and I will buy the hard version if you can get your hands on that. So that will be the material, the main medium we're going to be using for this project. And then I'm going to show you around the table the things that I use. Let's start with the waxers. So I have two waxers here. You can use these brands. This one is from Giles. Let me see if I can show you guys the brand right there. See, this one is Precision Waxer from Giles. And this one is Micromatic Waxer from this brand right here, Kerr Labs. They're known as Kerr Labs as well. You don't have to use any of these brands as long as you get a waxer that can heat the tips, because that's what these tools do. They just heat. They make the tips very hot, and then you can work and detail your wax or your sculpture in that case, for that matter. So you can choose whatever waxer works for you. They're not very cheap, but they're not so expensive that you can purchase one. You may find it used on eBay. That may be a better deal. I don't know. Just try to see what you can get your hands on. Just buy whatever brand you can buy for the beginning, just to see how it goes. You might love it. You might feel like, okay, I need a new waxer. Then you find a different brand if you want. Now, on this side, I have 3 boxes of the same waxer. One is still sealed, as you can tell. And it's this one right here. It's the Ultra Waxer 2 from Kerr Labs. And it is, I think it's very expensive, and I have 3 because this one broke, they sent me a new one. Then this one broke and they sent me another one. See, I didn't even open, I'm not using it anymore. I think it's too expensive, and it just breaks out of the blue, starts glitching. So as far as waxers, please don't invest your money on this one. I think they have to improve their quality, their manufacturing. I don't know what it is. They just break. If you switch from one outlet to another, they break. So you will see this here on my desk, but right now it's just helping keep the light all the way up here. That's all it's doing right now. So don't go for this one. I wouldn't. All right, so let's see. You're gonna need a torch. Okay, so this, I just got it at a 7-Eleven store. It's just like a mini torch right there. So this is gonna come in very handy. So get yourself one of these. Okay, you can find it at any convenience store, even at Walmart, I think. And then you can use, you're gonna need an alcohol torch as well, which is the same idea as the propane one, but instead of using the propane, he uses alcohol. And you're not gonna use just like any alcohol, the household alcohol. You're gonna use denatured alcohol if you decide to get one of these alcohol torches, or for that matter, like a alcohol lamp. You're gonna need let me get it for you guys. I want to show you what you're going to need real quick. So you're going to need, right, denatured alcohol. And you can get it at your hardware store, or home goods or construction store. So you need the denatured alcohol because you won't leave the sud, that black fume, on your tools or your sculpture. So that's the kind of alcohol you want to get your hands on for sculpting. And then, so we talked about the waxers, the medium that we're going to use. You're going to need this alcohol torch and lamp, plus a propane torch if you can get your hands on one of these. You're going to need this type of sand sponge. You can find them easily at Home Depot or any hardware store again. What I do with this guy right here, it's not the hardest, it's like kind of a thin, one of the thinnest versions they have of this sand sponge, and then I just cut it in little strips like this. That way you can warm up your tools, you know, and then work on your sculpture when you're trying to smooth things and clean up things a little bit. Another sponge that you do need to get is this one right here. So you're gonna need this super fine. Okay, you want the super fine one. It's a 3M sanding sponge, or I think that's what they call it. Just get your hands on one of these, because same thing, we're just gonna cut strips like this one right here, and we're gonna warm it up on the fire and gently sand the sculpture and clean up areas with the sponge. It's very handy, so you need one of these. Okay, you're gonna need some type of computer or tablet, whatever you can get, or pictures if you want to print the pictures of your reference. You can put it on the wall. It's your call. I meant to have a mirror here on the wall, because I think that helps to have a mirror right behind your sculpture so you can see different dimensions when you're sculpting. I haven't done that yet. But if you want to get a mirror and put it behind your sculpture when you're sculpting, I think that's helpful, at least to me. Here's just a piece of sponge. You can just get it anywhere, like a piece of mattress, whatever you have, or an old pillow, whatever you can get your hands on. And all it does, basically, after I'm working on the wax here, like carving and sculpting, I just like to quickly clean it right there. So it's very handy to have a piece of sponge to clean your tool real quick to avoid buildup. You will need maybe some type of epoxy clay. This one doesn't have to be this brand, but this is like a modeling compound. It's made by Aves. You can get this online. There's the website. I like this though. This compound is very nice, and it takes shape very nicely when you work with it. So you're gonna need some type of epoxy clay like that one, for example. And then I'm gonna show you you're gonna need like little dental instruments kind of looking tools. See if I can focus. Is it gonna focus? Not sure. Sorry guys. Let me see if it will focus right here. Almost. There we go. So see, it's just a little detailing kind of tool. Just go online, you can find it. This one, let's see, has some. This one was from the Sculptor's House. And it's the SH03, if it matters. So you can go to Complete Sculpture website and you can find it there. That's where I got it. You're gonna need a piece of metal tool like this one as well, like a little more like a heavy duty to move bigger parts of your sculpture with. We're gonna be heating this up under the flame here, or on the flame, and then we're gonna be modeling the sculpture with it as well. Let's see what else. So you're gonna see that I have a lot of little tools here in the studio, okay? And I have more over here. See, there's a bunch. This is something you want to get. You're gonna need this compass for measuring your sculpture, measuring proportions, making sure arms are the same length, or legs, feet, hands, whatever you want to measure. This comes in very handy, so get yourself one of these. Any office supply store will have these. They're cheap, so just get yourself one of these. But you're gonna notice I have like a toothbrush. I have a little like a X-Acto knives here. There's a lot of little tools. I have a bunch of little loop tools. And then over here, let me show you on this side. I have more tools over here. See, they look kind of like dental tools. This was given to me by a good friend. You know who you are. Anyways, I love these. This set right here is great. It has like so many different, sizes and shapes, and it really helps. But the truth is, 95% of the work is done with this tip right here. So you can get yourself a lot of little tools. It will help for specific situations, but you don't need every single one of them. You can just use a few, and Eventually you're gonna notice that you use mostly one type of tip or one type of tool that you like the best to do most of your detailing, most of your shaping and everything. So don't get caught up on the tools that you see here. Anything you see here, just get something similar. You don't have to have exactly what I have. Doesn't mean you won't be able to do the sculpture with me just because you don't have what I have. Especially when it comes to the waxers, don't worry. You can get this very cheap, the alcohol lamp or the alcohol torch, and you can just warm up your tools, and then work on the wax. It works just as well as this. It's just not as fast. That I have to say. When you're working without these waxers, the work with the hot tools on the wax takes longer to melt, and it gets cold quicker. So if you can get the waxers, great. If you cannot, start with this. This will work too. It just takes longer. That's all. So what else you're gonna here under the table? I also have. Let me show you guys real quick under my desk here. I also have like a skillet. This is like a medium sized one. You don't need anything bigger than this. In fact, I think this skillet that I got is too big. So you can find a smaller skillet just with the little handle here so you can control the temperature. All it does is keep my wax or my clay warm, and you can just keep working with it. Right now it's too hard, so you need to warm up if you want to get a chunk out of there and then work. But see, it's not too big. Look, you can see the size of my hand there. And I think this is a little too big for what I'm doing. So if you can get one a little smaller, it wouldn't hurt. For this scale that we're working on, at least, you don't need anything bigger than that. You're gonna need some lighting. You can get whatever lighting you want. I have this lamp right here, and I have this other one. It's just office lamps, just pointing where normally the sculpture is, right here. So if you can get some lighting to help you while you're sculpting, that's very, very helpful. Let me see what else. What else are you gonna need? We talked about the waxers, the sponge, what do we call? The torches, the clay, and I think that's it, guys. There's not much you're gonna need to get started, and you just have to find it, buy it, and then you'll be able to follow along with me. And for this course, what I want to show, you're gonna need this as well. Let me show you guys real quick here, right here. So if you can get your hands on one of these, it's just a magnifying glasses to make things a little bit bigger. I found this on eBay, very cheap. It doesn't have to be fancy or anything. It does the job, something like this. So if you can get something like this, you guys will be totally fine with some magnifying glasses like this one right here. Okay, and then the last thing we're gonna need is our reference, right? Is a reference for what we're sculpting. So you're gonna need to print the subject. Let me put it right here. So here we go. So there you are. So this is what I'm gonna be sculpting with you guys. Ultraman. I love it. It was on TV when I was a child. I thought it was great. So I think it's a good sculpture to begin with, especially for beginners, because there's no, it will be easier to sculpt the head. The anatomy is not that detailed, as you can tell. It's still going to be a challenge, don't get me wrong, but it'll be fun. It'll be very nice to do this together. It doesn't mean it's going to be this this particular version of him. We can go ahead and work along, and then if you're following me and you're like, okay, I got to the same point where Leandro is, and I like where we're going, but I want to have the more classic version of him, go for the classic version. If you want the more modern version of him, you can do that as well. There's even more modern version on Netflix now that is so like intricate that I don't even want to think about it. It's so hard it will be to sculpt that by hand. But anyways, we're gonna go with this reference here just for proportions, okay? So I don't want to go any bigger than this. This is right around, I think, 12 inches. No, not 12 inches. I'm sorry. Let's double check. This is right around, let's see, right around 14 inches tall. So it's pretty tall. And I want to stay in this scale because you start going bigger than this, you will see that when it's time to mold and cast, it will be a nightmare if you have something bigger than this. So I'm gonna use this as my template as far as proportions and starting the figure. So go ahead and get yourself a printout like this, whatever size you want. If you want smaller than this, fine. If you want bigger than this, fine. It's up to you. I'm gonna stay around this scale here, which is gonna come out as a 1/5 scale, maybe smaller, I'm not sure. But let's not go too crazy, too tall. It'll be kind of like the same size as He-Man over there, or even my Lionel that I'm working over there. These are on around the 1/5 scale. So that's what I'm doing for this guy. You can see if you put next to him. See, they're gonna be kind of the same size right there. Cool? All right, guys, if you have any questions, if you have any comments or anything, feel free to share here with me on Facebook. I think the series will be on Patreon. If you can support me, I will greatly appreciate it. Anything is helpful to keep my hobby going. We're gonna share knowledge, we're gonna share experiences, we're just gonna be learning with each other. It'll be fun. Again, this is a hobby for me. I have a full-time job, family. This does take me away from my family, but it is something that I love, and I just want you guys to keep that in mind and be patient if the videos don't come out as fast as you expect, but I'll try to work on them as much as I can. Thank you very much for all of you guys. If you can support me on Patreon, I would gladly appreciate it. If you cannot, no big deal. Hopefully I'll leave I don't know what I'm gonna do with the videos, if they will be public or I'll decide later, but I'm just excited to share the knowledge with all of you, and excited and happy with all the nice feedback I have been receiving. So thank you very much for tuning in again. God bless you all. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll catch you guys on the next video, which will be the video where we will start sculpting Ultraman. All right, everyone. Thank you so much again. Take care.